Back at it again. Auburn Tigers in the building. My man Kevin Sweeney's working on bracketology, but we got Wes Flan in the building. Excited about it. What up, Coach?
What's going on, man? Appreciate that prayer this morning, man.
Yeah,
I needed that.
Yeah, we need that. That's too important. We make sure we do that for every show, man. Got to keep first thing first. Speaking of first, you guys finished regular season champs, SEC. I don't think it was predicted like that. We know that. So talk about this team in this season, man. It's been a special one.
Come on, man. We still Auburn, man, in the SEC, man. They're not gonna give us the respect that we deserve.
They can't give you too much.
It's always gonna be about Kentucky, man, for good reason. They got a great history of basketball in our league, and we just know, man, that at the end of the day, man, we're gonna come at it with a chip on our shoulder. Our staff, our players, our fans, everybody has kind of taken that, that presence and that approach. And regardless of what they pick us, we're gonna come out, man, and give it our best shot. I think we got one of the best staffs in the country. Everybody kind of fits into a puzzle. We kind of approach recruiting the same way. We got 11 guys in that locker room that are on scholarship, and we very rarely, use 13. But people know we play 10 or 11 too. So everybody's playing this, putting on that uniform, and we fighting for each other. And we got a little talent out there as well. So, man, it's been a dream come true to be able to come back to Auburn, a place where I played. I know how hard it is, man, to compete in this league, especially on the road. And just to be back at this particular time of my life, man, with my son on the roster, and the jungle and our fan base, being at an all-time high. We got people traveling with us on the road now simply because they can't get a ticket to Auburn Arena. We had almost probably 2,000 fans at the Mississippi State the other night.
Wow.
Just as many fans as they had. And so it's been a blessing, man. And, I'm very appreciative of Bruce Pearl for giving me the opportunity to come back to Auburn, a place where, I worked my tail off and, grew up, so to speak. I'm just happy to be a part of something bigger than myself.
Yeah, you touched on a lot of things we're going to dive into, but I want to talk about your son first, man. You talked about your son being there. You played there. Now you got your son there. You told me the story, but share a little bit about how that went down. You were on staff first, and then you started recruiting your son. You're like, Coach, I actually got a son in my house that he can play a little bit. Like, might take a look at him.
Right. So, our family, man, the Flanigan family, man, we've always, kind of had to deal with adversity for whatever reason.
Right.
And the world has kind of, seen that adversity play out, so to speak. I was a really good player, at Auburn, and, all league type guard. And, my senior year, going into my senior year, is actually my junior year, I dealt with bone cancer, and, never really quite returned, the same player that I was after that surgery. Well, hindsight 2020, we come back to 2022, and my son is out there and he's got that 22 number on, and we're kind of going through the same thing. And he's got a brand, man. We call it 2X, bigger, better, 2X, right? It's kind of a legacy thing, 2 times. Me, him, both playing at Auburn. Him being a little bigger, a little stronger than me as a player. Him wearing that 22 again. And so, we're just trying to build off of that. And, on top of that, here we go with him, becoming one of the better players in the league. And, he's going through some adversity where, he's got an Achilles tear and right before the season. And so, he's dealt with a lot, as a young guy, at his age, especially with the pressures that come along with college basketball, especially playing at this level.
For sure.
But, man, it started with, him being at Little Rock Parkview. Again, same high school I played at, played for my dad. I played for my dad. My brothers played for my dad. It's a great story, man, that at some point maybe it'll all come out.
Right.
But, man, Bruce Pearl, does an unbelievable job of evaluating talent. He doesn't really care about, how many stars a kid has behind his name. Right. And Allen was one of those kids, man. He was a 3-star guy. Probably the least recruited guy, the 6-man class coming to Auburn that year.
Right.
BP sat there and watched him, and he sat there and watched him, and I didn't egg it on. I didn't, put any pressures on him, man, because I wanted him to want Al for Al, not because of Dad. And so, I think they were playing Scotty Barnes and, the big kid that went to Duke, one game in Vegas. And Al goes off, man. He has like 29 points, and he looks like one of those dudes.
Right.
And BP calls me the next morning. He's like, "Hey, man, look, let's try to do this."
Right.
And it went from there. Obviously, Allen as a freshman, man, is played on a really good team. If it's not for COVID, man, that team with Austin, I feel so bad for those guys. Austin Wiley, Samir Dowdy, Isaac Okoro, Javon McCormick, D'Angelo Purefoy. If it's not for COVID, that team probably makes another run for the Final Four.
Yep.
We go to Nashville and we're getting ready to play in the SEC tournament. We're the second best team in the league with 25-6. We have been, I think maybe number one. Not number one, but, in the top 5 at some point during the year.
Right.
And, they tell us on the bus as we're getting off of practice that the tournament has been canceled. And little to be known, everybody goes home for a couple months and sits down, like literally sits down. The whole world shuts down. And, I felt bad for those guys because a lot of those guys were affected, by COVID, as the whole world was. And so, we come back and, we got a really, really young team with Al as a sophomore last year. And we're the youngest team in the country, with freshmen and sophomores. And he has to step up. He has to step up. And he did. He had put in the work. He had put in the work during COVID, and he was ready, and he did. And, fast forward, now we're in 2021, 22, and, he has the injury, and, we got another great team. But I'm happy, man, that he gets a part to enjoy this. A big reason why he came back was to be able to say he went to the NCAA tournament. Obviously, his freshman year, COVID hits, can't go. Last year we can't go because of the NCAA penalties. And so this is the first time that he'll hopefully, knock on wood, get to enjoy the NCAA tournament in college. And hopefully he'll play well for us. But we don't need him to be the Allen Flanigan that he was last season in order for our team to be good.
Right.
And that's kind of what I've been trying to get across to him. But we do need him to, to play well as we finish up. And if he can play well and give us a different element as we finish up, I think we become, if we're not already, national title contenders.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. I think he's looking forward to the challenge as well as our team and our staff, and we're excited about it.
Yeah, sophomore year he averages 14 points and 6 rebounds and playing 30 minutes a game. He was a monster. I'm sure there's still something in that tank that he's excited to get out with this team, even though he doesn't have to do it the same way every night. But him having that capability in the lineup gives you guys another element. Talk about what it's like coaching your son. There's a lot of people out there that are probably curious, or they're trying to coach their son. I got 3 daughters in my house, so my wife's going to have to deal with coaching her daughters. So I'm curious, what is that like, and what's kind of the ins and outs of that?
It's tough, man. It's tough. But we knew that when we made the decision. BP knew that when we made the decision. But, because of this staff and because of, what we do in that locker room with our guys, we've been able to make it work. We got one of the best staffs in the country, no doubts about that. For 4 years we've been that way. And it takes a village. It's not just me. It's Ira Bowman, it's Marquise Daniels, it's Stephen Pearl. All of these guys, take turns, wrapping their arms around my son, man. And I need that at times. At times I need space. He needs space, to continue to grow as a young man. Right. And I try to give him that as much as possible. The great thing about it, man, is Allen is a hard worker. Yeah. He spends a lot of time in the gym, trying to get himself prepared, trying to get himself better. At times, man, because he's a coach's son, he overthinks some things. Sometimes he wants to be perfect. And I tell him all the time, hey, man, you got to get out your way. You got to get out your own way sometimes, man. You can't take everything so serious. You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to make every shot. And if he continues to mature from that standpoint, which he has in the last few years, he's gonna be a great player. He's gonna have a chance, to play professionally. I don't know, exactly what level right now. But he's got to continue to mature, as all of our guys in our locker room does. But this staff does a unbelievable job of cultivating a culture within that locker room, and I'm excited to be a part of that, and I've learned a lot. Just being in this program and working for BP and being around these guys.
Yeah, you work for just two of them. The last two guys you've worked for are two of the best in the country at what they do, and Chris Beard and Coach Pearl. What have you learned after sitting in the first chair and now you're back as an assistant, having that perspective again? What would you say you've learned, Coach?
Well, let me give a shout out too, man, because I've reached the point in my career where I am now because of a lot of guys and a lot of great coaches. People don't really understand how hard it is at this level to get, even to the point where I am right now.
Absolutely.
To have an opportunity to be a head coach, man, it's because of guys that have given me opportunities, man, to actually get out on the floor and do what I do and be Wes Flanigan. And it started with a guy named Bubba Skelton in Northwest Mississippi. I was there 5 years. Right outside of Memphis, had a great experience, man. We won a lot of championships there while I was there. Coached girls and boys there. I went from there. I went to Little Rock, Arkansas, and I worked for Steve Shields. And there we won some Western Conference Sun Belt championships. Great dude. He's now out of the profession, man, but I still stay in contact with him. I worked for Mike Davis at UAB, who went to a Final Four. One of the best offensive minds, man, that I ever been around. Great dude, misunderstood to a certain extent. And Rick Ray at Mississippi State, who, probably in my mind, had one of the toughest first-time head coaching jobs, in college basketball history. He went to Mississippi State. Great coach. Sometimes things just don't work out. And then, to be able to go back, I almost left somebody out, Doc Sala in Nebraska. There 2 years, man, and I had a great experience there. And then to be able to go back home and work for Chris Beard for 7 months and become a head coach, was an unbelievable fulfillment. To go back home, be a part of that championship team, win that game against Purdue in the NCAA tournament, and then look up 2-3 months later and I'm the head coach, which is something, man, that all minorities, in our profession are trying to do, and not all guys, get opportunity, man. So I'm blessed. I'm blessed, man. I learned a lot as a head coach. I think the thing that, probably stands out probably the most to me during those 2 years, which was unfortunate, was just to not take things for granted. Right. As assistant coach, man, you get into these modes where you have all these things coming across your desk, and you got things that you're trying to get done on a day-to-day basis. Right. And you're just trying to get things done. That's your mentality. Get things done, get to the next day. Well, when you become a head coach or the CEO of one of these programs, right, man, it's more about making decisions, right, that help your program in the long term. Yep. And you have to actually sit down and take your time doing that thought process to make the right decision. Yep. Right? You can't rush that decision. Yep. And you also have to make sure that not only your staff and your administration, but your players understand, okay, what is my message and what are we trying to get done at this particular moment? Or what are we building up to? Right. And as a head coach, for the first time, man, you have to learn that. And you only can learn that if you're in those scenarios and making those decisions. Yep. And I would say that, probably the first few months on the job, I was still working like an assistant coach. Yep. You know what I mean? Yep. And some of those decisions probably affected me in year 2. And it was just unfortunate, man, that I didn't get my 3rd year, which I was promised. But again, Brian, I'm not salty about it, man. I worked for a great athletic director, Chase Conk there. I was around great people. Little Rock has a unbelievable program and an unbelievable community. They gave me an opportunity to be a head coach. And if I left here today, I can sit here and say that, I did something that probably 70% of minorities don't get a chance to do.
If not more.
Whether it was short or not, I had the opportunity to do that. And so I'm proud to say that, man. I'm thankful for that opportunity that I had at Little Rock. And hopefully, from the things that I learned, if I get another opportunity, I'll be better equipped and better prepared for it.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Yeah. Well said, Coach. I'm curious, this team compared to the teams you've had there, you guys have had some high-level teams. You talked about the team during the COVID year.
Right.
Obviously, Coach Pearl has done a tremendous job. So, two-part question. What is it that makes Coach so good at what he does? Obviously, the staff, you talked about being one of the better staffs in the country. I love that you feel that way. It's obvious in the production that you guys are having. So what makes Coach who he is so unique outside of his energy? We know that.
Right.
And then how does this team compare to some of the teams you guys have had there that has been really good?
Yeah, man, like Brian, it's simple, man. And you try to get this across to young guys, right? Whether you're, in middle school, whether you're in high school, whether you're in college, even as a professional, right? Man, what makes Bruce Pearl special is simply the work. It's simply work, man. Like nothing special happens, man, without work, right? Yep. And the dude started out as a Division II coach, right?
Yep.
And so understand, as a Division II coach, man, like you're responsible for everything.
Yep.
You may have one assistant that probably gets paid,
not much,
some breadcrumbs, right? And he probably don't have a lot of experience. And as that guy, man, you have to do everything. You may have to mop the floor, every day before practice. Yep. And I just think, man, through his 26-year, history as being a head coach, he still has that mentality. I think, at times, he still doesn't understand how good his staff is, now we get in where we fit in, we figured out, through 4 years, we've had the same guys. And so, we've all kind of found, our niches within the program and within the staff. But man, this dude just works, man. You can't do anything special without energy and enthusiasm. And he brings it every day. Yep. He brings it every day. He wakes up in the morning, man, at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and he thinking about what he can do to, to help this program and improve. You may wake up, man, he got text messages already going. Hey, what we need to be doing to get better. But on the contrary, man, about 9 o'clock, Bruce Pearl about to shut it down, man, if he's not working. So he wakes up early, he goes to sleep early. But man, during the course of the day, I would say from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, there's probably not another head coach that's doing as much, within that day for his program than Bruce Pearl. As far as our team, man, I think this particular team, is probably maybe the most talented that we've had.
Yeah.
Now people have to understand when I say that. Now the Final Four team, their track record and what they did, because this team hadn't done it yet, I would say that's probably the best team that we've had. That's the best team. But you have to understand that team, played together, for 2-3 years. Yep. Those guys kind of came up together and grew together, right? Man, this team right here was put together this summer.
Yeah, quick.
We put together, 4 transfers, and we had, 3 or 4 sophomores, that played a lot for us the year before. And we've had some guys, man, that have made some unbelievable sacrifices in order to make this work. Yeah. When you talk about, Stretch, you talk about, Jalen Williams, who started every game for us last year, and now he's coming off the bench behind Jabari Smith. You talk about Alan Flanagan, who was a preseason, all-league type of guy, and now he's, taking a step back and accepting that for other guys to do what they do, because he came into the team mid-season. When you talk about Chris Moore and Devin Cambridge, all of these guys, man, are guys that played last year, that are kind of having to take a step back, because of the new guys that we brought in. But Our new guys have come in, man, and they have done the job, man, for us. Wendell Green, KD Johnson, Jabari Smith, Walker Kessler. These guys created a bond, this summer. For whatever reason, man, they came together collectively and they have a great bond, and you could see that even before the season started, man. If you would have asked me or had me on this podcast before the season started, I would have told you that this team was on the verge of doing something special. And they've been able to do that to this point. Winning the SEC Conference Championship, whether we, split it or we own it outright after this weekend, man, that is hard to do. And this team has already done that.
Yeah, talk about, Coach, when you guys won the whole thing. What was that experience like? Obviously, you knew during the year you were good. You knew you've been as high as number one, so you knew this team was special. But to actually win it, what was that emotion like for you and the staff and the team?
It was actually a sigh of relief, first and foremost, man, because we knew how hard we had worked all season, right? And the last 3 weekends, we've taken L's on the road.
Yeah.
And whether you want to or not, you hear things, whether it be through the media or whether you hear it on television, looking at the SEC network, people are saying things out there, right?
Right.
They're questioning things out there, right?
Right.
But man, like at the end of the day, hey fellas, like we still 24 and whatever we are, 24, like we're still one of the better teams in the country. All right. And so our staff was tasked with the job of, okay, like settle down, relax. All right, let's figure out how we can get better, how we can get to the next game and go on the road and get this dub and win this conference championship. And what people don't understand is, man, like, the other team is scouting too. The other team has an atmosphere just like we have at Auburn Arena, right? And so it is a challenge, man. And 3 of those teams that we lost to, man, they're all 3 of the better teams in our league. And so it's tough to win on the road in the SEC. It's tough to win on the road in any conference. And, we had to make sure that our guys understood that, hey, man, it's not going to be easy. This is normal. This is normal for teams to lose on the road.
Right.
But what can we do to make sure that we don't lose again? And I thought that, we made some adjustments. I thought we shared the ball a little bit better. I thought we were a little bit better on our defensive glass, which we were terrible at Tennessee on the road. And we were able to just stay mentally tough down the stretch. And then we had KD Johnson, Jabari Smith, man, who, just kind of went to work down the stretch.
What is it that you think this team has been able to get so close and gel and play at such a high level, such an elite level, so fast? You talked about, the other team up to the Final Four, they had played together for a while. So totally different scenario when you're playing together for a while. What is it about this team that's been able to do it so fast?
Man, like let's just put it where it is, man. Like at the end of the day, you have to have players. And we have an unbelievable collection of players. Again, I've talked about this already and hinted toward it. Like Jalen Williams, man, comes off the bench. He probably plays 15 minutes a game for us, if not less than that.
Yep.
That kid right there could start for almost every team in our conference.
Yep.
He averaged 10 and 7 last year or something like that, right?
Yep.
Zep Jasper, who I didn't even mention, when I talked about the transfers, right? He starts for us at the point guard spot. Zep Jasper is the best on-ball defender possibly in the country.
Yep.
Right? He doesn't have a selfish bone in his body. He's not the guy that's in front of the camera. He's the guy that's kind of in the background. But without Zep Jasper, Auburn is not, the team that it is this year, right?
Right.
But Zep Jasper averaged 14 or 15 points at the College of Charleston last season.
Right.
Zep Jasper shoots 40% from 3, I think, or maybe even a higher clip than that. I hadn't even begun to talk about Jabari Smith, who may be the top draft pick in the country.
Yeah, he's pretty.
You know what I mean? So I could just go around I could go around the roster, but man, we have guys that have been unselfish. But again, this started in the summertime, man. Like, I think the best thing BP did this summer was, he made our guys compete, every day when they first got there. We didn't do a lot of drills and practice. Like, he just made them compete.
Right.
And he made them kind of carve out, what that, ranking order or, what that pecking order was in terms of, okay, like, Wendell Green is really good. And we saw that every day, in our 8 hours of preparation, coming up, leading up to this season. We saw that Jabari Smith had a chance to be a special freshman. We saw that Dylan Caldwell was going to be, a defensive force for us. We saw that Walker Kessler was going to be one of the most talented big men in the country. And so, they all, competed and gained a respect for each other during that time frame. And so they know how good each other are, with BP and our system, man, we got one of the best, systems in college basketball. We play fast. Yep. and we play a lot of people.
Guys, yep.
And we play a lot of people. And so it all kind of comes together and it fits. He gives them a lot of leeway offensively, man, to do some things. Sometimes it kind of bites us, in the tail a little bit, man, because we'll take a questionable shot. We'll force a pass or two. Right. And, when you see that at times, man, it kind of lets the other team get on runs, but we're also able to get on runs ourselves as well. And so we have that spurt ability with our depth and with our talent. And they have supreme confidence, man. They have supreme confidence in themselves because of the work that they put in. And they have supreme confidence in each other. And they have supreme confidence in our system and what we do.
Yeah, it's impressive to see the numbers of it. I mean, just from a KenPom standpoint, you guys are top 10 in the country in defense, number 7, and offensively, you're top 20, which most teams that are good on one side are not usually good on the other. So to be dangerous on both sides makes it a handful to deal with. This is a fun time of year. You guys have been to the Final Four as a program. Is there something that the secret sauce that you let this team kind of know? And I know we can't know everything, but is there some of the secret sauce that you let these guys know this is how it's done? And obviously they already trust you guys and have proven they can be one of the top teams, but March is different. March is a different type of run you have to make. Is there anything that you guys draw from that last experience that you share with this team, or that you kind of inject that Michael Jordan halftime Space Jam juice?
Well, I think the consistent message, and it's not just March, right? You don't just flip on a switch and become something different, in March, right? Sure. But the consistent message for us and our staff is hey, let's get better every day.
Yep.
Let's get better every day. And then like guys, like Wendell, you don't have to be a superhero in order for us to be successful. Jabari, hey, you don't have to be a superhero to be successful. Hey, you got Jalen Williams sitting right beside you.
Right.
At Wendell, you got Zeb Jasper sitting right beside you. Hey, KD, you got Al Flanigan sitting beside you, right? And so it's the group, man, and it's about the group using each other and wearing the other team down.
Yep.
Right. And it's about the group trusting each other, man, and getting better every day. Getting better even as a staff member for me every day. That's the consistent message in our program.
Right. All right. So we always end, Coach, with a funny story. So you can give us a father-son funny story. You can give us a Bruce Pearl funny story. I'm sure you got plenty.
Well, everybody loves Bruce Pearl, right? So let's go there. Let's go there.
Let's do that.
So me and BP, man, you know how it is. It's the springtime, man, and we rolling, man. We trying to see as many kids as we can in one day, and we got the plane this day. We got the plane, right? So, we trying to see, 4 or 5 kids in one day, right? So we get up one morning, man, it's just me and him. It's just me and him. And if you don't know, like, when you with Bruce Pearl, you have to take advantage of time, right? Or you just might not eat, right? And so we get up this morning, man. It's possibly 5 o'clock, 5:30, right? and I got colitis, man. And so anybody that doesn't know, man, when you got colitis, man, you have to eat on time. You have to eat on time. Right. Like I got to get my 3 meals of the day, and I might have to get a snack, man. That's why I'm 80 pounds over my playing weight. All right, so we rolling, man. It's 5:30, man. I meet him at the airport. We jump on the plane, man. I can't remember the exact times, but we got something. As soon as we get off the plane, we got to go to a home, right? So we get there, you know, we do our little spiel, man. It lasts about an hour and a half. We jump right back on the plane, right? We go to the next spot. You know, we get off the plane, you know, we go to the school, we sit down with the parents and the mom, and we do our thing. It's an hour and a half, right? So think about it now. We've been on the plane twice. You know, we've been in a home or a gym, you know, twice. You know, this is probably 5 hours done gone by already. So it's 12, 1 o'clock, right? We jump back on the plane, we go to another spot, we drive, you know, get to the home, we sit down again, you know, this lasts a little bit longer, 2.5 hours, man. We look up, hey, it's 5 o'clock. We hadn't eaten.
I know that life. I know that life. Hey, we didn't have private jets, but I know that life.
Yo, it's 5 o'clock. We hadn't eaten, man. We in South Memphis, right? We in South Memphis. I'm with BP. You know, this is my first year with him, right? And so I'm driving, and you know, he don't know me for real. I don't know him for real. We learning each other, right? And so I'm driving. I'm saying, like, BP, man, I'm hungry, man. I got to eat, man. Like, if I don't eat in a minute, man, you might as well fire me, man, because I'm about to quit. Like, I'm gonna leave you wherever you gonna have to figure out the rest of this on your own. We got to get on a plane and get to another spot, man. Like, we need to be there in 20, 30 minutes, right?
Right.
So BP, like, okay, coach, I got you. Okay. I say, coach, what do you want to eat? We in South Memphis now. Anybody knows, you know, South Memphis, like. You know, South Memphis is where we from.
Yeah,
South
we
Memphis
there.
is where we from. So it's not a lot of great options, man. You ain't getting no steak dinner in South Memphis, man.
Right.
You know, 5 o'clock, you know, in the afternoon, man. With 20, 30 minutes to get to the plane, right? So BP say, we see a Church's, man, about a block up. you know, brothers love chicken, right?
No
but
doubt.
I'm not knowing that this man, like, you know, mess with Church's. so BP screams out, man, what you think about Church's? You know, and I kind of inside, I'm sitting over there like, what, man, come on, coach, you don't want no Church's for real, right? Hey, man, I love chicken, man. So, you know, when I got married, man, with my wife, man, like, my wife is like we ate chicken 3 times a day. Right.
Okay.
So she loves, so I love chicken, right? However you want to fix chicken, I'm eating.
Right.
So BP like, man, let's put over this Church's, right? So I bust this right, pull up, man. We get out, we go up to the menu. We go inside. You know, he had to use the bathroom with her. We go inside. And we gonna get it to go. So we both sitting there looking at the menu, right? We looking at the menu, and I'm about to go first, because you know, on the road, man, the boss usually pay for your meals, right?
Right.
Like it hadn't been a time on the road, man, where I've had to pay for my meal with BP. Right. So I go first. I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the thing, I'm kind of contemplating, man, what I want to eat. And I get up there to order. I say, man, let me get a 3-piece. Next thing I know, BP say, Cole, a 3-piece? Man, we might as well go and get this bucket, coach. I said, I turned back around and said, hey, BP, man, we not gonna eat all that chicken. He like, coach, man, let's just get the bucket. So I said, cool. All right, let us get a bucket of chicken. So we get the we get the bucket, right? You know, when you get the bucket, man, we ain't get no sides. You know, you get the little 3 or 4 or 5 biscuits, right? Right. So we got chicken and we got the bread, right? And each one of us got a drink. Man, we get our bag, you know, we hop in the car. We going 80, man, trying to get to the airport, man, catch the plane, right? Right. So I'm sitting there thinking the whole time, man, we are not going to eat all this chicken, man. It's like 12, 16 pieces of chicken in this bucket. Right. We got like an hour flight, right? So we jump on the plane and we get to eat, man. Like we going to town. Right. Man, next thing I know, man, there's 1 piece of chicken left. And it's a breast, right? I don't eat breast. Right. BP look at me, he said, Coach, you gotta eat that last piece of chicken. Coach, you gotta eat that last piece of chicken. I said, BP, because you chose Church's today, I'm gonna go on and eat this last piece of chicken. So I don't know who ate the most chicken,
man.
but I tell you this, man. Me and BP ate that whole bucket of chicken that day, and it was Church's, and it was pretty good, man.
I'm sure it was gourmet at that time. You had eaten all day since 5 o'clock, man. Oh man, that's a good one, man. That's a great story right there. Hey, go ahead.
And be 20 minutes late, man. Later, we was both asleep on the plane.
I'm about to say that. Oh man, well rested for the next visit. Well rested. How many of those guys on that trip did you end up coming to Auburn? And have you told any of them that story?
Man, I've told that story before, and I can't even remember. Yeah, you know what? We were in Memphis, man, so I'm sure, we went by Chris Moore's family's house over in West Memphis. Right. So maybe one, man, you know how it is, man. We get told no more than we get told yes.
People don't know that, but yeah, that's how it goes in this line of work. That's how it goes, man.
Even Auburn, man, even Auburn. So sometimes we be wondering in recruit, man, like what are we doing, man? That we not, and then we look up, we got 25 wins,
The work is the work. Eventually it pays off, man.
Right.
No, this was awesome, Wes. We appreciate the time, man, and best of luck. Congrats on this awesome year, man, and appreciate you taking the time out. And yeah, any last words you got? We'll let you have the floor, and then go kill it in March.
I had a ball, man, and at the end of the day, B, man, this is about relationships.
Yep.
And I always had a lot of respect for you, man. Seeing you on the road, watching you work. We know how tough this profession is, man. But absolutely. We all build these relationships, man. Man, I will. But man, I had a ball, man. Love and respect. Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It was awesome. You killed it, and looking forward to watching you guys do your thing in March, man. And we'll have to make sure this chicken story gets told again and again and again, because that's a good one.
I kind of lost you, B, for whatever reason, man. These electronics, man, they don't work all the time. But
yeah, I lost.
I don't know what you said, man. But again, I appreciate you, man. I hope your family and everybody's doing well. And like I said, man, anytime you need something, man, reach out. And I'll do what I can for you, brother.
Yep, same to you,
Much
Coach.
love.
Okay, same to you. Yeah, awesome stuff there from Coach Flan. Great story. Awesome story with him and his son as well. And Auburn, as we all know, one of the best teams in the country. So we appreciate him taking the time out. And thanks again, Coast to Coast. You know where to find us. All Access on YouTube. All Access is also on Twitter, Instagram, the whole nine. So, and also your favorite podcast platform. We'll see you guys next time.